Billions of dollars go up in smoke while the asphalt right under your feet gives out. It's the total collapse of American industrial pride. They fixed the bridge. It broke again in 6 months. How on earth do we sit back and accept this outrageous paradox? Fresh concrete has turned into a powerhouse political illusion that costs a pretty penny. Modern engineering is straight up failing hardworking people. They fixed the bridge. It broke again in 6 months, proving that taxpayer money is being burned on embarrassing Band-Aid fixes. You can't afford to stay blind to this scandal that's draining your wallet and putting your safety on the line day in and day out. If you want to wrap your head around the hidden secrets of infrastructure and join the ranks of those demanding excellence back in the United States, hit that subscribe button right now for Story Shock. We are on a mission to lock in our first 1,000 subscribers and build the single largest community of infrastructure titans in this country. Topic 1. The Illusion of Relief and the Ribbon-Cutting Ceremony. When the orange traffic barrels are finally cleared off an American highway and politicians step up to cut the ceremonial ribbon, everyday folks breathe a massive sigh of relief. There's this almost magical feeling that progress has finally won the battle against the daily grind of bumper-to-bumper traffic, bringing the promise of smooth sailing and safe commutes for thousands of working people. The driver cruising over the brand new structure feels like their hard-earned tax dollars actually went to good use, putting blind faith in the solid strength of that fresh concrete gleaming under the sun. It looks like the textbook picture of a problem solved, where engineering seemingly stepped in to restore law and order to the beating heart of the local community. But behind the scenes of this public dog and pony show, what's usually hiding is a rushed makeup job designed to sweet-talk voters right before a hard deadline. Great leaders and master strategists know that true, rock-solid strength doesn't do shortcuts, but the pressure for quick wins constantly forces people to cut corners and settle for superficial, quick-fix Band-Aids. It's just like a rookie investor who snaps up a cheap, sketchy stock on Wall Street just to pocket a quick dividend, totally ignoring the fact that the company's actual fundamentals are completely in the toilet. The fresh asphalt and that new paint smell wrap the public in a cozy blanket of comfort, blinding everyone to the invisible flaws lurking right beneath their feet. This operational short-sightedness turns a legitimate celebration into a silent countdown toward a train wreck waiting to happen, a total trap fueled by an obsession with instant gratification. A sharp observer can see right through it, knowing that throwing a party for a cheap patch job without fixing the actual foundation is the fastest way to dig an even deeper financial and structural hole. While cars floor the gas pedal, flying down the newly minted lanes with total confidence, the invisible laws of physics and time are already putting their relentless, grinding wear and tear on the guts of that project. The clock starts ticking loud and clear against that false sense of security, setting the stage for a massive reality check that nobody could see coming so fast. Topic 2. Anatomy of a Crash and Burn, the 6-month mark. Just 6 short months after the big grand reopening bash, reality hits like a ton of bricks when commuters start noticing the asphalt giving out all over again. What looked like a done deal turns, in the blink of an eye, into a total nightmare of frustration, filled with deep, nasty cracks tearing right through the freshly paved road. Forensic engineers, tasked with picking apart the pieces of structures that give out way ahead of schedule across the country, reveal a simple truth. Steel and concrete never lie about the quality of the hustle. A premature collapse is the smoking gun of a botched diagnosis, a stark reminder that rushing the job and dropping the ball on technical details will come back to bite you, way faster than anyone ever guessed. This dynamic plays out because modern management consistently ignores accumulated structural fatigue, choosing instead to put lipstick on a pig by using cut-rate, second-class materials. It's the exact same trap that catches an entrepreneur who tries to scale their business by leaning entirely on loud, flashy marketing, while completely dropping the ball on cash flow and basic internal ops. Take the Niles Channel Bridge down in Florida, for instance, where snapped internal cables proved that turning a blind eye to deep-seated corrosion will ruin any surface-level effort in record time. When multi-million-dollar contracts are handed over to whoever promises to get it done dirt cheap and lightning fast, the inevitable byproduct is incompetence stamped permanently into the reinforced concrete. Every single new emergency shutdown feels like a cold shower for the public's confidence, as people find themselves watching the exact same horror movie on repeat. This chronic loop of bad engineering and terrible management doesn't just wreck pillars and beams. It drains the community's patience dry and exposes the rotten core of a system that seems to have forgotten how to build for the long haul. Traffic detours make an unwelcome comeback. Local businesses take a massive financial hit, and the one question echoing in every sharp mind is how something so wildly expensive could fall apart so incredibly fast. But this technical mystery starts making total sense the second you follow the money and shine a spotlight on the mountain of cash flowing in and out of public coffers. Topic 3. The paradox of American public funding. The ultimate mystery keeping everyday Americans up at night is how a country capable of passing trillion-dollar infrastructure packages inside the Washington Beltway is still stuck with roads and bridges that are literally falling apart at the seams. This massive financial paradox proves that the real issue is rarely a lack of cold, hard cash. It's the insanely inefficient way that capital gets sliced up, passed around, and managed across different layers of government. It's the classic naive illusion that throwing a mountain of money at a problem is an automatic fix-all, without ever bothered to police where a single dime actually lands. Top-tier strategists get it. Capital without smart execution is just waste masquerading as progress, a rookie mistake that costs the entire nation dearly. To get to the root of this massive bottleneck, all you have to do is look at how these billion-dollar funds actually play out in real life as they trickle down a never-ending chain of middlemen and state-level red tape. A massive chunk of the budget evaporates into over-regulation, local political infighting, and endless impact studies that drag projects out for years before a single bulldozer even starts its engine. It's the exact equivalent of an investor pumping millions into a startup plagued by corrupt leadership or completely paralyzed internal processes. The money just vanishes into overhead and never hits the front lines. The end result is infrastructure that's already outdated and way over budget before day one, completely sabotaging the final quality of the build. This bureaucratic maze creates a vicious cycle, where taxpayer money is set on fire to bankroll temporary stopgaps that are going to need another massive injection of cash in the blink of an eye. The total lack of transparency and zero accountability for rock-solid, long-term durability means everyday citizens end up footing the bill 2 or 3 times for the exact same botched job. When the institutional mindset boils down to just burning through the available budget, instead of optimizing the actual delivery, true craftsmanship gets thrown out the window. This completely reckless attitude toward tax dollars ends up eating away at something way deeper than public finances. It chips away at the very industrial identity that built America in the first place. Topic 4. The race to the bottom culture versus industrial pride. There is a painful, glaring contrast when you put today's crumbling American highways side by side with the legendary monuments of engineering built by the industrial titans of the past. Men who thought on a massive scale, like the masterminds behind the iconic Brooklyn Bridge, designed structures to go toe-to-toe with the centuries, driven by a deep sense of industrial pride and absolute technical perfection. Today, that bold, unapologetic mindset has been swapped out for a stifling public bidding system that almost always defaults to the lowest number on a spreadsheet. This obsessive race to the bottom sucks the soul right out of engineering, trading a long-term legacy for questionable materials and completely unrealistic construction timelines. In the world of big business and heavy infrastructure, the old saying that "you get what you pay for" plays out with brutal mathematical precision every single time. When a company locks down a multi-million-dollar contract purely because they slashed essential costs on safety and cutting-edge tech, a structural failure becomes a matter of when, not if. It's the exact same unforced error made by an executive who decides to skimp on preventive maintenance in a complex factory just to pump up the quarterly earnings report. The chickens always come home to roost in the form of a catastrophic shutdown. Losing the pride of building things built to last has degraded the entire sector into a low-rent marketplace of quick patches, where mediocrity is just business as usual. This cultural shift takes a direct hit at the global reputation of a nation that used to spearhead the cutting edge of worldwide development and innovation. By trading away long-term durability for short-term cost savings, the system bakes in a chronic fragility that threatens the very lifeblood of the country's supply chains. True leaders understand that real savings come from doing it right the first time around, setting gold standards that serve as a lasting legacy for generations to come. But as long as the lowest bidder mentality keeps calling the shots on major projects, the fallout of this sloppiness will keep landing squarely on the doorsteps of the everyday people who need these routes the most. Topic 5. The hidden cost on everyday citizens and the way out. At the end of the day, the final bill for every single miscalculation and botched patch job never gets paid by government spreadsheets. It gets pinned on the everyday citizens who rely on these routes just to live their lives. The working mom or dad who loses precious hours trapped in gridlock because of an unexpected emergency bridge closure takes a direct hit to their productivity, their household budget, and their peace of mind. Truckers hauling essential freight across the United States face skyrocketing costs and premature wear and tear on their rigs, from dodging deep potholes and white-knuckling it over condemned bridges. This silent, hidden cost acts like an invisible tax that suffocates the real economy, completely crushing the competitive edge of small towns and big regional businesses alike. Flipping the script on this chaotic mess demands a radical shift in perspective, focusing entirely on operational efficiency and a ruthless, zero-tolerance policing of every single contract signed. To solve this deep-rooted problem, leadership needs to step up and enforce a long-term warranty model, meaning the company that builds the bridge is on the hook for free, mandatory maintenance for the next 30 years. This is exactly how heavyweight investors play the game, demanding airtight performance clauses before putting a single dollar of capital into a high-risk venture. When the builder's own wallet is directly tied to how well that structure holds up over time, top-tier engineering and honoring deadlines instantly become the gold standard again. Breaking the cycle of mediocrity takes real guts to roll out independent third-party audits and slap heavy-duty penalties on companies that deliver subpar infrastructure. Society has to stop sitting on the sidelines like passive spectators watching value get destroyed, and instead become the most aggressive watchdogs of the public assets they paid for. Only when operational excellence is treated as a non-negotiable core value will this country get back to raising monuments capable of standing up to the test of time and heavy daily use. After all, the true strength of a nation isn't measured by how big its political speeches are or how flashy its promises look. It's measured by how rock-solid the ground is beneath its people's feet. Conclusion. Driving over a bridge every morning can't be a blind leap of faith anymore. It needs to be a conscious, hard-nosed demand for excellence from the very people bankrolling this entire nation. How much longer are you going to just sit there and accept your hard-earned cash being buried in disposable construction projects and empty political talk? Moving the needle on American infrastructure only happens when everyday people decide to start thinking like real industrial titans and start demanding ruthless, cold-hearted operational efficiency. The blueprint is right in front of you. Now it's your move to decide whether you're going to stay a bystander to this massive waste or become the wild card who steps up and demands the absolute best for your community. To stay ahead of the curve on the inner workings of this industry, master the chessboard of massive development, and help build the most powerful force of infrastructure junkies in the United States, go ahead and subscribe to Empire Structures right now and flip those notifications on. The future of this country rides entirely on the rock-solid foundations we decide to demand today.